The problem with believers concerning war is, well, they believe everything they are told when it comes from what they have determined is a trustworthy source. The leader of the church or a political leader are prime examples. Believers swallow propaganda like free Snickers bars. What is the moral responsibility of believers? Believers believe that the 10 years of war in Vietnam were well spent to protect the freedom of Americans. We killed approximately 2 million Vietnamese civilians. How do Christians justify that kind of violence? Somewhere around 58,220 American service members died, and believers are sure it was necessary because they were told it was needed by those that stood to benefit the most from a war. The clergy, for the most part, did not protest. They actually condemned the war protesters in many cases. By Christian silence, they justify the harm as God's will. All of this to prevent the spread of communism, something we were told would contribute to the destruction of American freedom. Believers never questioned how a poor Asian country, comprised mostly of farmers, were going to deprive Americans of freedom. The most astonishing thing for this guy is the fact that these believers never questioned these actions in the wake of Vietnam becoming a communist country, and it had no effect on the freedom of Americans. Believers are not interested in the actual facts set before us, that Vietnam becoming communist did not have an effect on Americans. Yet, believers supported this war that killed millions, cost the United States $843 billion in 2019 dollars. The problem with believers is that they never learn. They just keep believing what they are told. Between 2001 and 2023, the United States spent $6 trillion to fight a war in Afghanistan and Iraq that killed around 2,456 service members, 3,923 Department of Defense contractors / mercenaries, with estimates of several million civilians. Some sources believe it's as high as 4.7 million civilians killed. Believers are opposed to helping the poor, but support the industrial military complex 100% of the time, to fight wars in lands they will never see, and to kill those they don't care about. Believers still accept the storyline of a Defense Department, when in reality it is a War Department that consumes 20 times the amount of money the closest competitor in military arms spends. The problem with believers is that they are not skeptics. Unless it challenges the storyline told by their leader, whoever that is, then the uninformed will regurgitate the same mantra spewed out by their talking heads from the church-state propaganda machine. The real problems with believers is that there are too many of them. What we need is to replace these believers with seekers. You see, seekers are looking for the truth and really never accept the idea that they have the complete truth. A true seeker will question everything. Possibly the greatest tragedy is that the believer still believes that all of this bloodshed and dollars spent to maintain freedom here in America is worth it. They still believe that Americans are the freest people in the world, and they are wrong. The United States ranks 33rd in the world for social freedom and 26th in the world for financial freedom. It is time for the great realization, the realization that the masses have been lied to. It is time for the great realization that the people you elected need to be fired and replaced. How far down the rankings in freedom must we plunge before you see the truth before you?